Employers versus employees, the battle for workplace flexibility. It is 12:30 in the afternoon and I'm Liz Jones, Managing Director at People to People UK and your host of P2P UK Live. We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube and X, so don't forget to follow us. And on today's show, we're going to cover the stat of the week. So why nearly 50% of UK employees feel unsupported in adapting to changing work conditions. We'll take a look at some hot jobs in the UK, New Zealand and Australia. Can forcing your staff back to the office do more good than bad? This week, we're joined by Recruitment Consultant Kirsty Henegan, who's going to discuss the ongoing conflict between employers and employees over the right for remote work flexibility and the potential impact that it might have on your business with a force to return to the workplace full time. And then we'll take a look at the social media poll results. But first, let's take a look at the stat of the week. Cultivating an agile, multi-generational UK workforce. This week, we're taking a look at an article by Talent Partners International that discusses the challenges and opportunities of managing a multi-generational UK workforce from baby boomers all the way up to Gen Z. Many UK employees feel unsupported in adapting to changing work conditions, leading to a workforce readiness gap. Younger generations, especially Gen Z and millennials, seek growth opportunities but feel they lack sufficient support. Attrition rates are high among younger employees, with 50% of Gen Z and 59% of millennials planning to leave their jobs soon. That's a scary figure. Older generations, such as the baby boomers, bring valuable experience but may struggle with digital transformation. Cross-generational collaboration can foster innovation by combining the strengths of different age groups. So companies should really tailor training and development programs to meet diverse generational needs, leveraging AI, virtual reality for enhanced learning experiences. So creating a culture of continuous learning is essential to bridging the skills gap across the workforce. And that is it for the start of the week. It's time to take a look at some hot jobs in the UK, and we are looking for a HR generalist in central London. This looks like a temporary position, paying £28 per hour. Responsibilities will include supporting the organisation through an organisational restructure process, providing guidance and oversight on redundancy procedures. And we really need somebody with proven UK experience in organisational restructuring and redundancy processes. This role is being looked after by Maddie Lang, and her contact details appear on the screen now. Don't forget to register with us for temporary work across the United Kingdom. We're looking for various positions in various industries. Opportunities range from short-term cover of just a few days to long-term temp positions lasting up to 12 months. We're always on the lookout for job seekers looking for the next opportunity, perhaps a gap in your career, you're looking for some contract work. If you want to know more, please contact us. Our details appear on screen now. Moving over to Australia and New Zealand now. If you're looking for a job abroad, we have a few positions available. A customer service officer in Adelaide, South Australia, a legal assistant for litigation in Victoria, Australia, paying $80,000 to $95,000 annually, and an operations assistant in Auckland, New Zealand, paying $60,000 to $62,000. If you'd like to know more, there's a barcode on screen now. Please scan it and get in touch with the team.
Okay, so it feels like we've never really stopped talking about work from home and flexible arrangements and whether it's better to offer that or bring them all back to the office. And of course, it's come to a head again over the last week or so with the government's directive and really put it back into the front page of the media. So pleased to be joined by Kirsty Henegan to go through some of the I guess the different angles of looking at this and get some perspective. So, a lot of experience in recruitment, and you'll see it firsthand in visiting with our clients and our candidates and seeing that experience. How do you think the growing importance of work from home and that flexibility has changed over the past few years in the way that both employers hire talent and how job seekers approach their job search?
So I think in terms of, obviously we had COVID where we all had to go remote and it was a quick turnaround. So it was a little bit of an eye opener, I think, to employees and employers that we could actually work from home. So we saw in the year that we had the candidate short market, it changed from being an ask and it was more of a, I am going to work from home, but how often are you going to allow this? So it was more of an entitlement rather than a benefit. So we have definitely seen that shift, and now we're moving into the fact that we're going into an employer's market. So we're seeing them wanting to bring them back into the office. Obviously, I think there has been benefits to it in the sense that for an employer, they've been looking across the whole of New Zealand, so it's definitely increased their talent pools as well in terms of who they can look for and what kind of experience, especially if they've got the systems and things in place to be able to bring people on board remote.
Yeah, so of course we, the big cases of this or a push for return to the office is going to make the headlines, and that's what stands out. But there's a lot of employers who have really embraced flexible working, and I would say that across the board, hybrid is the go-to model these days. For those employers who may have concerns and feel like, no, we've got to get them back into the office, what are some of those, I guess, common concerns or hesitations that they have around remote work or working from home?
I think sometimes one of the big ones that we do hear about is productivity. So I think there are hiring managers who believe that if you're not in the office, you're not doing the job. So I think sometimes that is one of the big factors for a lot of businesses, that they want to see their employees there and they want to know that they are doing the work. I think the other areas that we have actually seen it is new people coming into the business. Sometimes it is a case that their development is a little bit slower than other employees that are in the office full time, just because they're not getting the learnings around them. They want them to be able to build relationships with all of the different stakeholders across the business, and sometimes that is a little bit easier in person. So I think employers sometimes do want you to have a period of time in the office before you go to that either fully remote or hybrid. And then there's the other things like the culture. There is definitely an impact. Sometimes people don't really embody like the mission and the values because they are working from home, so not really getting that collaboration with their teammates as well, I think is one of the big things that we've seen as being why people are looking to bring them back into the office.
Sure, definitely. You've probably guessed by now, I'm totally team hybrid. I think the typical me, sit on the fence and have the best of both worlds, but I think that can work really well for employees and for organisations. Now, we are seeing, of course, a bit of a push from some areas to bring people back into the office full time. What are some of the potential negative impacts on those businesses if they do go all in and try to mandate this?
So I think the ones that you're going to see off the bat, and I think you mentioned this in the radio interview that we listened to, but you are going to see people not being as productive. They're not going to be satisfied about the fact that their benefit of being able to work a hybrid role has been taken away from them. So I think you will initially see that reduction in terms of productivity in the role. Obviously, we are in a market that's an employer's market, so I don't think you'll feel the turnover instantly because people at the moment are looking for job stability. However, once we do start seeing the market shift, I think a lot of businesses are going to start seeing people leave the workforce. And I think the other thing is there are some people that can't work in the office full time, and it's to do with things like they are the primary caregiver, or they've got a family member at home that they need to look after, or they need to pick their kids up from school but they'll jump back on later on so that they can actually get the work completed, or they have health issues that they need to just have that flexible working so that they can actually manage their productive times to their less productive times. So I think you are going to risk losing some really key performers as well from the business because they can't actually come into the office 5 days a week because they don't have the networks or support around them to support with that model.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how can businesses, I guess it's trying to balance things out, so maintain those opportunities for collaboration and communication in a hybrid work environment without sacrificing the flexibility. So, we've seen it as we worked with different businesses over the years, and particularly post-COVID. There were some who did a fantastic job of being able to adapt to this new way of working, and others didn't quite get it quite right and have kind of been backpedaling trying to make up for that. So how can they get that balance right?
I think we've seen a lot of businesses looking at how they can tackle this, and there's been great ideas implemented. So obviously your work from home days are normally for your focus. You've got things that you need to get done, you need to get your admin done, or you've got a project that you need to just have no distractions. That's great for your work from home days. What businesses have started doing is anchor days, because there was you can work from home 2 days a week or 3 days a week, and then they were coming into the office and their team wasn't there. So it kind of defeated the purpose of them being in the office, to be honest. So what we've looked at is anchor days, having the team in the office on a certain day, but then you can work around that, and they're your collaboration days. They're the days when you get together and you have your strategy and your thought processes around how to tackle something. Whilst working from home, your communication channels. I know there's a lot going on these days with all of the different channels that are out there, but really just setting up, where do we communicate? What do we communicate on? Is it Teams? And which kind of chats? Is it a channel? Is it a chat? And what goes on there, just so that all of the information's in the right spot. And I suppose the other thing is as well is just if people are working from home, doing those one-to-one conversations. So rather than just having your group meetings, because what happens a lot of the time is people sit there without the camera on, they're on mute. Are they even at the meeting? Are they engaged? So I think definitely try and get people to have the camera on and engage in the group meetings, but also just have those one-to-one meetings as well, because then you know that person's actually getting involved in some of the conversations and you're getting to hear their perspective on how they're getting on as well.
Excellent, some excellent tips there. And I said we've got a question from the from a YouTube channel from Sri. What jobs are the most vulnerable to be back in the office? Well, definitely at the moment, any public sector jobs, they've had a clear directive. But I think it does, yeah. I think it definitely does matter what kind of role you're in, and some are a lot easier to be able to to do from home, and to make that argument that as long as you're getting the outcomes and if you can still deliver on what you need to in that role, that it shouldn't matter where you're doing it or what time of day. But there are some roles, particularly with that need for collaboration or that FaceTime interaction, whether that's internally within the business or with customers as well, we'll have more of an emphasis on bringing them back so that the team can be more productive as well. All right, so we'll leave things there. There's always lots to say on this topic, but we'll leave that for today. But please feel free to put in your comments and give us your 2 cents worth. We'd love to hear it as well.
It is time to take a look at the social media poll results. So last week we had, with more companies beginning to mandate a full return to the office 5 days a week, would you consider looking for a new job if your employer enforced this policy? And it is a resounding yes, I would. 45% have said yes, and 30% have said no, they'd stay in their current role, with 25% unsure. If you'd like to get involved in this week's poll, with 2025 fast approaching, when will you begin looking for a new job? Before the end of the year holidays, after the New Year break, or not looking at all? And that is it for P2P Live this week. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next Friday at 12:30.